Hello, captains. This is Metaman. I wanted to do a little bit of a review on the Alabama comparing to the Massachusetts because I know that there will be some captains out there that are trying to decide between Massachusetts and Alabama heading into ranked battles. And this is more towards the captains that are trying to decide which one to buy if they're actually buying one right now. And I'm going to give a few reasons why, if you are a newer captain or only have one specific captain for your battleships, why I believe the Alabama is the better choice. Now, I have both, but both have 19-point captains. If you only have one 19-point captain or one high-rated captain, I would choose the Alabama, and this is why. If you have a 19-point captain and he goes on to the Iowa and on to the Montana and on to the North Carolina, the Alabama is pretty much plug and play. You're going to have the same type of captain. I'll show you how my captain's set up. Not everybody's going to agree with it, but I do not like DDs being able to sneak up on me or cruisers, light skins cruisers with high DPM to sneak up on me. I'm a DD player. I'm a good DD player. I'm a good CV player. Um, I don't like the DDs being able to sneak up on me. Um, this is the special captain. Now, if we go over to the Massachusetts, in order for him to have his ability that he does so well, which is the secondary build, you have to allocate your captain points similar to how I have them out here right now. Now, doing that is not gonna be well set up for the Iowa, for the Montes, for the North Carolina. Couple advantages that the Massachusetts has is the great secondaries. But to do that, you have to use those captain points. And what takes away from that is your concealment. 12-7 on the Alabama, 16-1 on the Massachusetts. That's a huge difference. Now, to make up for that, the Massachusetts has fast heals. These are set up, the Alabama is at every 80 seconds, Massachusetts. Oh, his are set up at every 72 seconds. Well, no, heals. I'm sorry, heals. 40 seconds on the heals. And on the Alabama, it's the traditional 80 seconds. Now, that is very nice, and it sets you up a little bit more for an attacking ship, which the Massachusetts is. But you, after you get within fighting distance, especially your secondaries, at your 11-3, you're not going to be escaping. You're going to be using all of those heals and hopefully be able to use them all before you die, which most time when I use the Massachusetts, I do. That sounds great. But the Alabama, with the concealment of 12-7, and I usually fight at around 10 to 12 kilometers with him, maybe a little farther, not much. But the reason I stay at that distance is so that if I start getting overwhelmed, I can go past my 12-7 and get my heels off, or get behind an island and get my heels off. Guns are very similar. On artillery-wise, it shows that the Alabama is slightly better. I think they're very close. I notice, just personally, and maybe it's just me and not true, but it feels like the Alabama guns are just slightly more accurate. I noticed that my average per shell hit is slightly higher, and I think that's because I do feel I get more citadels with the Alabama. That might be a placebo effect. I'm not really sure. Um, the anti-air is showing slightly higher on the Massachusetts. 91, and the survivability slightly higher on the Massachusetts. I'm guessing that they're taking into account the fast heals. Maybe it's the maybe he has a slight advantage on points. Yes, he does. 3,000, about 3,000. Yes, 3,000 health. But I'd say it's the heals, which are the fast heals, the 40-second instead of the 80, which I said can be compensated with that 3 kilometer, just about 3 kilometer difference in concealment, which you're able to hide a little bit better in the Alabama. But as in my battle that you're about to see, I don't hide. I try to use my AA. I try to get up close and work with the team. I'm not a sniper. I don't try to do that. But we're going to go ahead and move over to the game play. This is a tier 10 battle. Tier 10 battle with CV. I believe that the Alabama is undervalued. With the Massachusetts, you do have the secondaries. Alabama, you have the a lot better concealment. Versus the other Tier 8 battleships, I don't have the Gascon and Vladivostok. I have the Lenin, the Alabama, the Massachusetts, Tirpitz, Bismarck. If there is a CV, the Bismarck and the Tirpitz just are not really comparable with the others. Alabama is definitely better than those two if there's a CV. I feel the Alabama might be slightly behind the Massachusetts. My win rate is higher in the Massachusetts, but I used to play her a little bit more, not like a sniper, but a little farther back than what I do nowadays. And I feel that Alabama is definitely overlooked just because of the Massachusetts secondaries. But her anti-air is great. Her tanking ability is good. If I'm in a DD, I want an Alabama or a Massachusetts behind me. Now, of course, I want great secondaries of a Tirpitz or a Bismarck also. But if there's any kind of CV, I feel a lot better in my DD when I have an Alabama or a Massachusetts behind me. I feel Massachusetts is slightly better when head to head comparing, but like I said, if you it doesn't compensate for if you only have one captain that you have to allocate all those points towards a secondary, because if you're going to put them in the Iowa or the Monty or the North Carolina, you're not going to be able to do that. If you only have one captain, I would much rather have the Alabama. I play the Alabama quite a bit. I do not feel handicapped at all in her. Throughout this match, you'll see how I play her. I'm not trying to sit in the back. You see I've already gotten 3 planes. I try to get up towards the front. I want the enemy CV to have to go through me. There's plenty of islands for me to repair behind if I need to, but I'm helping protect my team. And if it was a more DD heavy game, I actually push up pretty far with my Alabama as long as I have an escape plan. You'll see the accuracy on these. Sometimes they're hit and miss, but I do seem to get a lot of citadels with this Alabama. And like I said, I'm not taking anything away from the Massachusetts. I do pretty well in the Massachusetts, and I'm getting higher win rate in my Alabama than what I used to have now that I've uh, not sitting in the back as far. I am over 50% in her. I feel like she'll probably end up probably 53 to 54, 55, somewhere in there. I'm not a Unicum player in her, um, but personal ratings wise, they say 1,000 is the normal average player. I'm at 1,300. I average 70,000 a match in her. I average 1.1 kills a match in her. And I average way over the average in airplane kills per battle in her. My numbers in my Massachusetts are very similar, except I push up even farther with the Massachusetts. So everyone's saying that the Massachusetts is a ton better. I play them both, and I do have a better win rate in the Massachusetts, but I just don't see the huge difference besides the secondaries. Because, like I said, with the extra concealment, I am able to back away and get my heels off a little bit better in my Alabama. What I consider okay in a battleship is I try to average as much as I can, but it seems like good battleship play or decent battleship play is at least 2,000 per 2,000 hit points of damage per shell hit. And right now I'm at 9 hits and I have 23,000. That's what I'm meaning with I average a little bit higher, I believe, with the Alabama than I do the Massachusetts. Now, with the Massachusetts, I might have had 10 hits for 20,000. Now, you do get the secondaries to come in there to help also, but I'm just trying to show you what I'm talking about with um, a little bit higher per shell hit. Now, this Vladivostok, he's starting to kite away. Once in a while, you'll see people try to follow someone that's kiting. There's no reason to. He's so far away from the objective. There's no reason to. I'm gonna shoot a little bit here and there out there, but there's no way I'm gonna chase him. I won't be any help to the team that way. As soon as a couple ships start clearing out a little bit, as in a couple people dying, I'm sure that we're going to be moving up a little bit, and you'll see how I do that. And I want to get into position that I'm helping out with these airplanes. Alabama, I'm not saying that she's super spectacular, but she's just really solid. I really, you can depend on her. She she can swat down planes real well. That's a big plus. She has the 406s, pretty reliable. And like I said, you'll see towards the end, my average per shell hit is higher than the 2,000 per shell hit that I try to even at least keep up. In Alabama, it seems like I keep a higher number than that. With the Alabama and the Massachusetts, you do have pretty good, well, you have really good torpedo belt, and then you have pretty good agility. Um, so you're able to move around from those torpedoes pretty decent too. Especially with how I use RPF, I can tell what direction the closest person is. So if I don't see anybody and somebody's 10 kilometers away and my RPF's pointing another direction, I know a DD's over there. And I'll angle my ship so that if I'm getting hit, it's somewhere I want to get hit or I can move away from. Now, if there is no CVs in the battle, Bismarck and Tirpitz are very viable. I use them both. Both of them I have pretty decent win rates in those also. But if there's a CV, I don't even consider it close. I feel like in the Massachusetts or in the Alabama, I have something that's really reliable. I have good AA, just like the Massachusetts. But I feel like the Massachusetts is kind of a wild card because with that concealment, if you get overwhelmed, you're either getting a meme uh, game, as in doing tons of damage, tons of kills, or you're getting eliminated because after you get seen and you get within distance, there's no escaping. That 16-1 concealment, you're not getting away. 12-7 with the Alabama, very consistent because if if I need to escape, all I got to do is get to that 12-7. Massachusetts, you got to get to 16-1. I try to get behind this island right here so that when I fire at the Monty that I'm still concealed. Just get a little cheeky shot in there without having to take one back. Vladivostock, his team's winning, but him kiting out there hasn't helped his team at all. And now he's finally coming back, figuring out we're not going to chase him. That's why I'm slowing down, is so that I don't give him a perfect broadside. Hopefully giving him a little bit of an angle by the time he sees me and gets his guns around and fires. I should have shot just a little bit farther ahead, but once again, another Citadel. They don't look any more accurate when I'm hitting the belts than when I'm in the Massachusetts. It's just some reason it feels like I get more Citadels with this guy. If I had multiple captains to choose, I would choose the Massachusetts. It is a different style, something else to play with instead of just the traditional than what the Monty, the Iowa, North Carolina give you. But if you only have one captain, I would definitely pick the Alabama. You can see that she's consistent. By the end of the battle, you'll see what I do. I do over 2,500 base XP. This is a tier 10 battle, tier 10 CV. The way I last in this game and the way that I swat down planes is not something that the Bismarck, the Tirpitz, the Gascon, Lennon could not do. Lennon has other tricks up her sleeve, and I'll be doing a review on her also. I really like the Lennon, but she doesn't do the same things that the Alabama does. Like I've said in some of my other videos, as long as you play your ship to her strengths, you should be fine. But you just got to know what she can do. Monty going YOLO, bye. Another 2 Citadels. I get lucky here. The Donskoy could have got me in bad position right here. You see we're still down ships. I see it's time for me to try to do some of the tanking. Get lucky with somebody take care of that Donskoy. The Alabama, you definitely have to play it a little bit more cautious than what you do the Massachusetts, just because of the fast heals. But it's traditional American BB style. Bow on. Keep at an okay distance. I play her very similar to my Iowa. If you only have one captain, or if you only like one style, um, it's going to help teach you the correct way to play the American BBs. Vladivostok, he's been outside for way too long. His team had a lead. He kited. He should have came back a lot earlier. And now, by the time he's come back, the game's pretty much decided. They are ahead, but we've gotten in better position. Kind of like at the end of the game, you have like an Alabama or you have a Lennon or you have Turpitz or anyone like that. And if if the enemy team has a CV, you're going to get whittled down and you're going to die. Alabama or Massachusetts, something like that, you might die, but you have a lot higher life expectancy than you do in one of those other ships. And you're able to support your team a lot better. But no, you don't get the crazy big numbers, but we've slowly moved around. We're going to end up moving up here. We have 12 planes. We got 4 citadels, 2 kills. We're going to end up over 100,000 damage. Alabama just reminds me of a blue collar worker. Just goes in there, reliable, going to give you the same thing every game. You'll have some big games and some low games, but she's pretty reliable. Massachusetts, you're going to have some monster games. You're going to have some monster secondary meme videos, but you don't get to see the other videos that the people played and it rushed up and they were at their 16-1 concealment, and you don't get to see them die within the first 5 minutes because they ran into 5 ships and didn't see them. Alabama's not going to have that as often because she's going to be able to get into her concealment, limp away, repair, and come back. Another citadel. But like I said, look at the shells hit and then the damage. Normal normal play, I seem to be around 2 to 1, 2,000 to 1 hit. In Alabama, for some reason, it just consistently. I'm usually consistently 3,500 per shell hit. You don't see this too often. This isn't from a sniper Alabama. I'm going to end up with 2 caps also. So guys, this is the reasons why I believe that Alabama could be a better choice for somebody than the Massachusetts. I'm not saying that she's better than her, but I definitely would not be afraid to pick her instead. Um, if you have any other ships that you would like to see, I'm going to be doing a series covering ships that I believe that are good for the ranked coming up in Tier 8. This is Metaman signing off. If you like, please subscribe and tell me ships that you'd like to see. You guys have a great day. This is Metaman signing off.